Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing a top 10 list. Outrageous. Welcome back, friends. Today, I will be discussing with you my top 10 most worn perfumes for spring and summer 2023. Unlike most top 10 lists, this is a factual list based and rooted in truth. I keep count of which fragrances I use throughout each season, my seasonal rotations. And at the end of said season, once said season is over, I do my most worn list. And this is what I am bringing you today. I hope you will enjoy. Just scanning over these perfumes, it's interesting that you see patterns forming, like when you're a little bit removed from the situation. I don't necessarily wear anything on purpose. I kind of just pick up what I feel like on a daily basis. The only rule I apply is that I can't wear the same fragrance 2 days in a row. By the way, if you check my rotation videos, you will see that I rarely wear the same perfume twice in a week, but that's not a hard and fast rule. That is not a hard rule at all. I just tend not to, When you've got a big collection, you try and wear a little bit of everything. Now, other people do things differently. That's fine. There is no right and wrong way to wear your fragrances. Do you know what I mean? Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Got a cup of tea today. So yes, you can do whatever you want. This is just kind of how I try to keep it fresh and interesting, And in here there are some absolute classics from my collection. There are some classic fragrances. In fact, are all of these classics? No, they're not all classics. There's a couple of future classics, a couple of brand new perfumes to the collection. There are some old stalwarts. There's some niche, some designer. No indie though. But I keep trying, I keep looking. Anyway, let's begin, shall we? And at number 10 is a new fragrance to the collection this year. And it is from MDCI, Invasion Barbar. That is right, friends. I got this. When did I buy this? I want to say I bought this in like June sort of time. I'd smelled it before and I wasn't overly enamoured. I didn't think much of it, and then for some reason I found a sample lurking somewhere in a bag, and I sprayed it, and I was like, wow, like I must have this. So I got another sample, I think, and I decided that was it. And I've been told that it is best to buy directly from the website, and the guy will help you out as much as he can. And in said package, I also got like 55 mils of I got 5 11 mil sort of decant mini perfumes of all different kinds, and I got a lot of samples as well. So that video will be coming up on the channel at some point in the future. But back to Invasion Barbar. This is an awesome fragrance, and I mean awesome. I don't just mean like, that's awesome, dude. I mean it's awesome, as in it's sheer scope, There's violet leaf, lavender. I get some kind of hay, dry, warm grass kind of thing, There's cardamom. It's a beautiful fragrance. I absolutely love it. And I am glad I have it. I can't remember how many times I wore this. but this was my 10th most worn fragrance. And next year, I suspect it may be higher. We'll see. Number 9. Number 9 is a classic. It's a classic perfume. One of the best of the 21st century so far. It was made by Annick Minato for Dior. And it is called Bois d'Argent. This is my CD rated bottle. The batch code is from 2016. I am glad I own this huge bottle because the newer versions are just vanishingly quiet. Vanishingly quiet. They're it's not just soft, it's almost like air. It's hardly there. And this should have a little bit of clout to it because it's got myrrh, it's got iris, it's got like beeswax, it's got all that. It's got this beautiful aura about it, this presence. And it's absolutely stunning. I genuinely mean it when I think it's one of the best perfumes of the 21st century. I would go along with that with Invasion Barbara as well, actually. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. A phenomenal concoction from Annick Minato. And if you can and you're interested in buying this, see if you can't get an older bottle with CD written on the top. Later formulations are not to be trusted, unfortunately. But that was number 9. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is this. No, I got this last year, so it's not a new edition, but I love this. This is my bottle of Iris Nazarena by Heelys de Venustus. I was gifted this very kindly by lovely Natalia on the very same day as I was gifted a brand new bottle by Anoush from Enchanté. This was a partial vintage, and I have compared the two, and there is no difference. I would be absolutely shocked to my core if the brand came out and said this had been reformulated. I would lose all bearing and trust in my nose if the brand were to come out and say, no, actually, we did reformulate it between the new and the old packaging. Because I've compared and contrasted the two, and they smell identical. This was a very kind gift, so thank you, Natalia. This is a fruity rose, iris, leather, that is, the performance is absolutely massive. When were you released? Let's have a quick look. 2013. It's 10 years ago now. Good grief. Big iris at the top, juniper berry, leather, vetiver, rose, incense. Stunning creation. It's expensive. It's like £250 for 100 ml, I think, around that kind of mark. But it's gorgeous. I went through a phase of desperately wanting this perfume, and then I went from not having it to having 2 bottles on the same day. And they were gifts for Christmas from 2 lovely people. So thank you both very much. Try and get a smell of this. I have got the sample set from Heelys de Venustus, so we will see. We will see when I do my first impressions if there are any others in the line that I feel like buying. Okay, so 7th. 7th is from a designer house, but it's a classic, and this is a vintage bottle. And this is Marl Liberte. This was I think it was a feminine marketed fragrance when it came out, but this is easily wearable by a man. You put a shirt on and wear this, and you no one would bat an eyelid. You know, this is another incredible lavender perfume. It is a little bit warm, spicy at the top. It's a little bit, I think it's coriander, or is it clove? I think it's clove. I'm saying coriander or clove. It's this kind of mixture of clove and nutmeg. Very vintage notes, you know. There's a little bit of zing at the top from some lemon. It's floral. Obviously lavender and heliotrope as well, but it's got that quality and depth that you've come to expect from vintage Jean Patou. There are still bottles of this around and available. Make sure you get bottles that were distributed by Jean Patou, not distributed by the new company that owns them, which I can't remember the name of now. But the vintage ones were distributed by Jean Patou, and this is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful in every way you can imagine. You dress this up. I wear it dressed down as well. But you dress this up and you can go anywhere with it and feel like you fit in. Very classy. Very, very classy. Next up, number 6. Yeah. Number 6. Sorry. So, Invasion Barbar was number 10. Bois d'Argent was number 9. Iris Nazarena was number 8. Marl Liberte was number 7. And number 6 is Roadster by Cartier. I've done a review of this, I believe. I hope I've done a review of this now I've said that. This is bergamot and mint at the top, which combine to give this kind of apple vibe, I think, like a juicy green apple. And then there is this patchouli in the base, which takes it in a completely different direction and gives it this kind of chocolate mint vibe. You know, the bergamot dies away, it takes away that zesty kind of appley thing, and you're left with this kind of creamy, sweet, fresh, masculine perfume. It is absolutely stunning. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure that I have reviewed this actually. That's a shame. I might have to dig this out and review it. Well, there'll be a review soon. Don't worry. Yes, number 6, Roadster by Cartier. One of my favourites, as you can tell by the size of the dent in the bottle. Okay, number 5. Number 5 is, again, no stranger to this channel. It is a vintage classic. A mid-90s banger, as they say. And this is Dolce & Gabbana Poorarm from 1994. This is from the golden age of Dolce & Gabbana's perfumes, in my opinion. The mid-90s, they were on a streak. By Man, Poorarm, even Masculine was a nice bergamot. Bergamusk, if you will. This was lemon, bergamot, lavender, tobacco, tonka bean, sandalwood, cinnamon, maybe some geranium as well. Absolutely beautiful fragrance. You don't get anything remotely approaching this kind of quality in today's designer releases. If this was released from a designer house today, people will be shocked. What did for this perfume were reformulations and Dolce & Gabbana moving around their production licenses. This was made by Euro Italia. This is the original one, made in Italy. And it is absolutely amazing. It is not the last designer on this list, but during the hot summer months, this smells like a warm day in Italy. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Number 4. Number 4 is a new arrival. Another new arrival to my collection. And this is a niche perfume. I'm sure you can all guess what it is so far. This is Cologne Officinale by Heelys. It's classic French soap. High-end classic French soap. It's what it smells like. Green, fresh, a little herbal, aromatic, very vintage take on a modern perfume. Surprise! You could only get this in niche perfumery now. You couldn't get this in designer perfumery now. Not that Heelys a designer, I don't think, but I think Heelys one of the best niche houses in the world at the minute. They have a lot of great stuff. I'm looking to get a sample set of all their perfumes, so you will see first impressions from me on the channel. This has got basil, lavender, rosemary, sage, and an oak moss note, which just goes to show that you can still get a good oak moss note. You know, it's green, clean, and absolutely beautiful. It smells like class. It's got this little ambery thing going on towards the end as well, which gives you this kind of, it makes you feel as though you've just got out the shower and you've used a high quality soap. You know, it's absolutely stunning. And for the price, I forget what the price is, but the price is an absolute steal for what you get. You know, if you just want to smell clean and high end quality, Cologne Officinale. Okay. Again, well, excuse me whilst I hydrate. Next up, number 3 is a perfume that is once again an absolute classic. One of the best perfumes of the 21st century for me. It has just been reformulated, and as such, these bottles are becoming like gold dust. This is made in Spain, Prada, Ramba, Pohom. I'm not sure what else I can say about this. I think I have actually definitely reviewed this. Do I want to check? Have I actually reviewed you? Yes, I have. Thank God. A little floral at the top. Maybe a little bit of spice as well. But very soft, not like heat spice, but kind of like warm. And then it's got this big resinous, creamy, thick, fresh, soapy, mid and dry down. Even the floral at the top's a little bit creamy as well. This is another clean, fresh scent, but this one's a lot more, you know how I said Cologne Officinal has that kind of ambery touch at the top. This is more ambery all the way through. It's got some of the ingredients on the top. There is French labdanum, there is Indonesian patchouli, Guatemalan cardamom, and leather from Spain. So it's got a Spanish leather note as well. But there's a big saffron in here, but it's not offensive. It's not like some saffrons that you come across and you're like, oh God. This is smooth and clean from top through the middle and to the bottom. Absolutely amazing wear. You can see how much I've worn of it. It is beautiful and I love it very much. And so we come to the top two. And number two is one of my personal favourite perfumes ever. There's a lot of other people don't feel the same way, but I don't care. I love this stuff. And this is Luciano Pavarotti. This is an empty bottle. I am resting this until next year, at which point I will open another bottle, of which I have. Do not worry. Do not worry. Do not concern yourselves. This is one of my great loves perfume-wise. Slight lemon, petitgrain, green at the top. And then the mid, it just gets warm and friendly. So it's fresh, but there's like patchouli, iris, cedar. All that combines to give this inviting, clean, fresh warmth and creaminess. In the base there's benzoin, tonka bean, leather, and especially honey. The honey note in this is gorgeous. It's not overly honey. It's not like thick jelly kind of honey or crunchy honey. This is a sweetness, a natural sweetness, an inoffensive sweetness. And I love it. I'm absolutely in love with this perfume. It is amazing. And that takes us to number one, friends. And number one is another perfume I love. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I've reviewed this as well. And quite recently. Yes, I have. That's right. And it is another perfume I have finished. And this is L'Instant de Guerlain Poorarm EDP. The most worn fragrance in my collection for spring and summer 2023. This is Guerlain. This is what modern Guerlain should be. Whatever's happened since this was released, it's a tragedy. Because the stuff they're releasing these days is awful. And when you compare it to this, it's no wonder they're losing market share. I know it's a very technical kind of way of putting it, but less people are buying Guerlain as perfumes for themselves and other people than they have before. As a whole of the market, yes, the market has grown, but since LVMH acquired them, it has been a steady decline, and at the minute they are really down in the doldrums. But this is a high watermark of 21st century perfume, made by the brilliant Beatrice Piquet, who very, very sadly passed away in the early 2000s. But this is her legacy, and it is absolutely phenomenal. It's a beautiful perfume. If Guerlain had kept down this road instead of going down whatever road that they have gone, and I don't necessarily blame Thierry Vassar, who was the in-house perfumer. There seems to be a lot of forces at work in that house, and I don't necessarily think he is. I don't necessarily think he is steering them in that direction, but not to worry. This is an amazing perfume. I have finished this bottle, which I bought in 2016 or 17. I think I bought it in 2017. I have backups. Apparently it's been reformulated. It's been repackaged, definitely, into those horrible square bottles that they use for L'Homme Ideal. And they've packaged a lot of their classic masculines into those bottles to simply save money. I mean, I don't know how much money they want at this point, you know what I mean? It just makes them look cheap. But I have a couple of 100ml bottles of this. It's kind of bittersweet because this is what Guerlain should be capable of. You know, this is what Guerlain's capable of. They just don't do it. And on that note, friends, I will say thank you. And I will see you all again soon. Bye.